Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great week, great day, wherever you are and whatever day it is for you. As always on the podcast, it is Friday, so we're bringing that good Friday energy to you. And it's nice and cloudy here in Seattle. So I am. I've said this over the past couple of episodes, but I am looking forward to spring. I got all my newly planted trees on the side of my property here, and they're about 2.5, 3 feet tall, and I've sprinkled them with that Miracle Grow stuff. So I'm looking forward to spring. They're going to sprout up, and we're going to have a nice security fence. But on the other topic here, it's a good day for a second reason because we got Brian Tran with us on the show from Cash Flow Properties. Brian has done over 100 flips. He has an $8 million rental portfolio. He's also the host of Winners Club podcast. A lot of experience to jump into. I'm excited to jump into it. Brian, thanks for hopping on.
Well, I appreciate it, and we were talking a little bit on before the show started, and I got to get to your level, man. I got to go back into investing into more real estate. 8 million just sounds small when I hear about this strip club that you just bought, this storage facility. I got to get into the strip club game and reconvert those businesses. So
we haven't closed on that one yet. No, I haven't disclosed it, but yeah, we'll get into it later.
We'll get into it later. Hey, but you know what? There's no way they're gonna find out where it is, anyways.
So. There you go. All right. Yeah. So tell us you got a lot of experience. You've done tons of flips. How'd you get into real estate in the first place?
Yeah, I actually started off as a realtor about, I think I want to say 12 years ago. I renewed it 3 times, the license. And, you kind of started working with investors. And then one day, I sold this investor a property. We flipped the property. I did all the work. I was just the listing agent at the time. And I remember I made $25,000, high price point, and I was ecstatic. I'm like, $25,000, let's go. And then you can look at the HUD statement, and I'm going all the way down, and I see this guy made $250,000, and I'm saying, wait a minute, did he really do 10 times more work than I did? I don't think so. You're right. I was slaving away at the open houses. I was doing all of it, and then the light bulb clicked. I was already, at the time when you list the property, you already do all the work. Sometimes you're managing the renovations, you're painting it, you're swapping out the flooring, etc. And I said, you know what? I can probably do this too. And I'm the kind of guy where I thank God every day that he didn't make me the smartest person in the room, because what tends to happen when you're the smartest is that you get analysis paralysis. I'm more of a shoot and then try to aim. And that's exactly what happened. And long story short, I found this property in Bernal Heights, San Francisco. I bought the property for a little shy of $1 million. And I made every mistake in the book. I took a little bit too long. I managed a project a little bit too meticulously, right? I was picking up materials, doing everything that I tell my people not to do today. Long story short, that delay actually helped me out a lot because the market in San Francisco just kept going up and up and up and up. I walked into the deal. I was supposed to make around 250. I know it's a lot. It's a good chunk of change. San Francisco was a great market to flip in back then. And then, long story short, we ended up selling it for $250,000 more than the last comp. So 1.5 to 1.75, I cleared a little shy. I would say like right around $500,000. And I was like, okay, let me think about this. In order for me to even get a gross commission of 500,000, I'd have to sell close to $20 million. And I'm like, that's equivalent to 20 buyers or 20 sellers. And I was like, this is much easier. And that's with all the mess up. And so long story short, I go all in, and I'm just starting to, acquire more flips, and that kind of snowballed down this real estate journey that we're in, right?
Nice,
Granted, the margins are getting tighter, the margins are getting squeezed, and so you have to do more volume. But at the end of the day, I personally think that flipping real estate and all the other things that we do is a lot easier than being a realtor.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you said the first deal you did, you learned all the mistakes. You were doing it yourself. I got it. I think the first thing I did in real estate, I started flipping houses, and it was 2014. And I distinctly remember me and my buddy bought this house, and we were doing all the work ourselves. And so I remember walking through. We had to do electrical work. We weren't electricians, so we had to hire that out. And I was walking through with the electrician, and he was looking at the tile work, which we had done. And he was looking at it, and he was like, man, whoever you hired to do this tile work, you should fire them. They were horrible. And we were just like, well, yeah, that was us. So that was a lesson for me that, especially for flipping, don't do the work yourself.
That's one thing that I'm very, very meticulous on. It's the tile work, because
Mm.
that's where, I mean, I think some people don't care, but I am so like, I look at that, if my tile's uneven or the grout line is not even, I get pissed and I make them rip it up. But um, I'm glad you fired yourself.
Yeah. But let's go into that. I mean, you've done a ton of flips since then. That was your first deal, and it's only been going up since then. Flipping is a really, really hard business to get into it. From my experience, I've done it myself, and I know that there's a lot that goes into it. So you really do need to systematize it. Any flipper who's done a good volume of deals, they have these systems down. So let's talk about that. How did you scale your flipping business?
Yeah, it all starts with deal flow. Believe it or not, that's probably the most important thing. Most flippers uh, don't make what they want to make because they don't buy enough deals. And so, luckily, I came from a real estate background. I was already a realtor, so I knew how to leverage my realtor relationships, buy things off markets, deal with wholesalers, and the whole nine. And so, what I realized very quickly was that I don't need to be on the job site. And so I was mainly in charge of finding the next deal. And so rather than just subbing everything out, which you can save money by subbing everything out, um, I just hired a GC. And a GC will typically charge 20 to 25% more than if you were to sub it out yourself. But I knew that if I can just get them to manage the project and get it done to my expectation, and I can find the next deal, I'll make up that 25% all day, any day. And so that's what I really did. I found a good GC partner, and that was the first kind of system that I put in place. And that's what I advise any newbie to do, right? Like, you still want to check up on them on the first one or two projects to make sure that they are doing things to your standard. The tile work is good. All right. And but after that, if you build a long-lasting relationship, they know exactly how you want things done, and they just go in and they do it. And you can just keep finding the next deal, negotiating the next deal, and so on and so forth. And then I started to just kind of piece it together. Um, hired a project manager. That was the next thing, to manage the contractors. Another very simple SOP that we did was that all my flips look the same. And this is San Francisco. This is where um, average sales price is 1.7. Even in my 2 million plus properties that we're flipping, they relatively use the same tile. And I go to
Mm.
Floor and Decor. I think it only matters when you start going into the 5 million and up, and that's not where I flip, because then now the buyers are very, very meticulous.
Picky.
They want the name brand tile. They want the story behind that material, and so I don't really venture off that way. And so it's just simple. My contractors know what tiles we use, how I lay them, how I set them, what's the offset, and again, it just makes my life easier so that I'm not worrying about, oh my god, did I tell them to do it this way? Did I tell them to do it that way? It gets too complicated at that point, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of other flippers, they give me a lot of I can't cuss on the podcast, but they give me a lot of issues. They're like, your stuff look all the same, and I'm like, but I still make the same money.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist. I'm not a designer. That's not what I do. I need to make things simple and easy. The buyers don't care. They don't care that the house that I flipped in the next neighborhood, it looks exactly the same. Who, like, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And then, from there, I'm not gonna lie to you, we started venturing off into wholesaling. And so, believe it or not, we're actually wholesaling more than we flip, because um my thing is, I'm always assessing risk. Now that we have this thing that we built, right? In the beginning, you need to make as much money as possible. Now that we have kind of like this nest egg, you actually I'm now figuring out, like, okay, do I need to make all the money, or do I want to make it consistently and safely? And that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And I would say my decision to do so is pretty spot on, given what's going on in the macro economy right now. And I had a talk with my team last quarter, Q4. I said, guys, let's halt buying all these projects, and let's actually just start dispoing them out and wholesaling them out. And if we can make 51% of what we would have made flipping this thing, you let it go. And they were like, why, Brian? Why? We're leaving so much money on the table. And I said, I looked at the market and I said, okay, we're really in a bubble. I'm in the Bay Area, so we're powered by Silicon Valley. This AI boom is really helping us out. But then I look at the job market, and then I look at the GDP, and I see that the GDP is going up, and then we have a negative employment rate right now. I think if you just saw the new
Yeah. It's
report
like
that came out,
29,000 or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's bad. And even on a local level, I'm talking to my friends and they're getting laid off. And now I'm thinking, okay, those are our buyers.
Yeah.
And so if my buyer's pool is shrinking, my margin is probably going to get squeezed. And so if, our flips, even though my crew gets in and out fairly quickly, even kitchen, bathroom, like for like, we usually get in uh, the work done in about 3 months, market it the fourth month, etc. I'm like, okay, if I buy everything in December, what does April look like? And in my mind, it just wasn't worth the gamble. And
Yeah.
so I said, we're going to stop. And then I don't know. Now we got this thing going on in the Middle East. We got oil prices going up, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I feel pretty good that I don't have 10 projects going on right now with hard money eating at my knocking at my door every single month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of uncertainty out there right now. In fact, just the last guest that we had on, he's a big multifamily guy, and he was saying that the like blood is in the water, and the next what do you say, 18 months or something like that, it's just going to be kind of a shit show. I never like to predict or try to predict the future because I just never know what's actually going to happen. But it's interesting to hear that the sentiment kind of everybody's aligning on what they feel like the next year or two is going to pan out.
The way I
So yeah,
looked at it was that if I'm right, then I would be stress free. The company will still be afloat. I still have a crew out there and people out there that rely on me to make a living. They'll be paid. They'll be fed. Their family will be fed. If I'm wrong and economy booms, okay, I stand to not make another 500 to $750,000. That's okay. I'm all right.
yeah.
I'm good with that. I can live with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It really depends on your risk profile. Like, what are you willing, what kind of risk are you willing to take? And that's why you get more money on the flip, is because you're taking more risk. And the more risk there is, the more money you should be making. But sometimes it's better just to take less money and have less risk. So going back to, you've already talked a little bit about your flipping process. You had a really good GC partner that you partnered with to get the deals done. I'm sure you vetted a lot to find that guy. I know that when I was doing flips, I had a hard time finding a good GC to work with. But you got that in place. You got your project manager in place, and then you kind of standardized your design. Somebody I know here in the Seattle area who does tons of flips. That's one thing that he told me about, and I didn't do flips at the time, and I don't do them now, but he was talking about how he had his buy sheet in every single house. He used the exact same buy sheet, same kitchen sink, same tile, same paint color, the exact same house, every single one that he did, because it just standardized things and it makes it a lot quicker. So yeah, I think that's a really good tip. I wish I had known when I was doing flips. It's a really good idea, instead of designing every single thing to the, I don't know, an individual standard, I guess.
Mhm.
But you mentioned now you're more focused on disposition, on wholesale. So let's talk about that. That is what you're focused on right now. That really relies on a good lead flow, good dispo side, and then also good lead flow. Dispo, you're building up your buyers list. Lead flow, you're out there, you're talking to sellers, you're getting them on a contract. So the hard part about wholesale, I've done wholesales myself, and the hard part is finding the deal.
Yeah.
Tell us about that for you guys. What is your process, and what are you finding works right now?
At the end of the day, when it comes to wholesaling, is that you need money to spend on ads. That's the truth. With flipping, you can probably get away with it because you can buy from a wholesaler, you can buy from a fellow realtor, and there's really no upfront costs when it comes to like trying to get the lead. But
Mhm.
with wholesaling, to do it right and to do it at scale, you definitely need to allocate a good size budget. Now, I'm in the Bay
Yeah,
Area where our average at it's about 10,000 spend to one contract, right? So you can imagine that it's
that's not
expensive.
bad considering. I'm sure your wholesale fee is. I'm
50 average about 50 to, sometimes we hit 100,000 on some of them, but I would say average about 50,
Yeah,
right?
but that's
So
still. That's that's 5 to 1 in terms of
it's
return
5 to
there.
1
So
if you do it on your own, of course, but I try not to do all the task. And so to give you guys a little breakdown of our little wholesale team, we have acquisitions, our acquisition specialists. Those are the guys that call the leads, go out on the appointments, go belly to belly, and get the contract signed. And so those guys are typically on a 20 to 30% commission of whatever the fee is. our disposition, once we get the deal into contract, their job is to either go on investor lift or investor base, and then they need to find the buyer. They get 10%. And so if you do the math there, 30 to 40% of the fee is gone. Right. And then I got to factor in that $10,000 that I spent. And so really what's left is about, I would say give or take 30% profit
Okay.
per transaction.
Yeah.
Again, I don't need to eat the entire pie. And let me tell you why. I'm wearing a long sleeve today. It's a little chilly too, but I have a scar that runs from here to my arm and then it cut up inside as well.
Oof.
Um, that happened November 2024. I was gone for the whole month of November in the hospital.
Oof.
Yeah, terrible. I couldn't get out. I couldn't work. And luckily, I built teams and processes in place that everything ran smoothly. And when I got out, I think I had two options. And my team jokes with me all the time. They say this guy's either going to slow down or he's going to speed the F up. I don't know how to slow down. I just it's just not in my blood. My parents are immigrants. They left the Vietnam war, and so they came here with nothing. I'm not slowing down. If they sacrifice everything for me to be here today, I'm not wasting that opportunity. So I came out and I said, okay, we're gonna hire more people. We're gonna put in more systems and processes. I'm gonna still show up every day. I work. I'm in the office Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday I'm with the kids and stuff like that. But I'm showing up and I'm building this thing out because I want to build something that doesn't need me. And that's why I'm okay making 30% margins or even 25% margins. I know it sucks because in you want to make 100%. But the thing is that then you're responsible for 100%. And if anything happens again, I'm 30. I mean, this happened when I was 32, something, I don't, around there. And so I was young and I was healthy. Like I was in shape, you know, blood work, everything good. And it happened to me. So I'm like, what happens when I'm 40, 50, 60? Like, I'm not going to depend on just myself to produce the income anymore. Right. And so that's my philosophy. Just build it right. You need to have a team. And, at the end of the day, you can actually make more with the team than doing it by yourself. It just takes time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what is it? It's like a Chinese proverb or something. You can go fast. I'm gonna butcher it. But the idea is if you go
If you
alone,
wanna
you're
go
gonna go.
fast, go alone. If you
Yeah,
wanna
there you
go
go.
far, go with the team. The
That's it.
problem
That's
is
it.
that
That's
most
it.
people that I talk to, and there's some flippers out here in my local area that make more than me before, because when we were starting off same time, they would make more because it was just one person, one man, they could do all the work. And I was already kinda in the process of like, "Okay, I'm gonna bring on this person, this person, this person," and, it cuts into your profit. But if you look at now, I'm like, "Dude, guys, I'm not stressing,
Yeah.
I don't go to my projects. I don't have to.
The other
It's
thing
kinda
is,
great."
nobody for when the way I look at businesses, I enjoy doing it, and I like to do things that give me energy. And not every aspect of a transaction does give me energy. And so it's not only that you will make more eventually, because you're building a team, you're building a system, you're going to do more volume, et cetera, et cetera. It's also that you can focus your attention on the things that really drive you forward. And that's one of the unspoken benefits of just being on a team, is that you can focus on things that you're good at. Other people can focus things that you're not quite as good at and probably detract from your energy pool. And so, yeah, building a team, it's one of the hardest things about business in general. I mean, not just real estate, just business, but it's definitely one of it is the thing that will give you the biggest dividends in the long run. Um, Awesome,
Agreed.
man. Well, hey, I just took a peek at the clock. We've already run it down. It's already the 20-minute mark. So we got to move on. We got
Let's
to
go.
jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. It starts with education. It could be any form, could be a book you've read, movie you've seen, mentorship program you've been a part of, anything. I just need two recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
General life wisdom, I would say, oh my God. The subtle art of not giving an F, because sometimes we get too consumed in what people think about us and all that stuff, and we just get stuck. And so I would say that's a good book for personal. For business, I mean, there's so many, but there's two that's coming to mind, but I'm just gonna go with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's so simple. I would just say that because that just unlocks the mind for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But obviously today there's a lot more technical books for me that I could recommend. But
Yeah.
Those are the two.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's been recommended many times on the show, but
I
it for
know.
good reason. It gives you the why as to why you should be looking at real estate, considering real estate. It's a really good book. I remember that was the first book I read. I read it in like one sitting,
Same.
and it really got the fire going. So, moving us on to the next question. This is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Brian who was doing his first flip back in, I can't remember what year you said, but back in the day. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Go bigger. Go much, much bigger. You don't need to have capital. You should have raised money earlier. You should have borrowed more from the hard money lenders. You should have taken the construction draws, because then back then you could have bought probably 3 or 4 flips instead of just doing it one at a time. And that was the early days.
Nice. Yeah, I would tell myself that same thing, and I think what it's connected to for me is, I don't want to speak to you, but for me, it was don't let fear stop you. The
Mm.
reason I didn't go bigger is because I was afraid. I was afraid, 100 unit mobile home park, bigger number scared me. I was afraid to take on that risk, but you have to go bigger. I mean, first of all, there's more security in big. Security. If you're buying a small property, doesn't matter what it is, if you have one problem, one issue that goes wrong, the fixing that problem is going to take money, and it's going to take all of your cash flow. It's going to take all of the profit that you would have gotten from that deal. But when you have a bigger property, sure, things can go wrong, bigger, but generally smaller things are going to go wrong, and you're going to be able to fix them with the cash flow that the property produces. So, yeah, love that sentiment. Definitely would have told myself that as well. Moves us to the next question. This is about the US. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Short term, quick cash, California. Long term, somewhere. I mean, I don't, now I'm just going to put that. I invest most of my portfolios right here in California.
Okay.
I make it work. I know it like the back of my hand, but I also invest heavily in states like Montgomery, Alabama. But I would say
Okay.
I still make more money here in California because I know it. And when you
What
know something, you can't. It's hard to lose.
Yeah, no, I hear you. What area of Cal, like what specific city, metro, or submarket?
I'm right here in the Bay Area, and so I invest. I love Santa Clara County. That's where
Mm,
a lot of the tech hub is, and so it's insulated very well. Rents are high, but acquisitions are high. But again, you translate from the flipping side. I try to buy things that need work, and you typically can force equity and get this property for a deal if you can handle the construction and all that stuff.
nice. Actually, I just looked at a deal, mobile home park, in Bakersfield, I believe.
Ooh, that's kind of
Um,
far.
yeah, and the numbers did make sense, but I just looked into the metro, and I it was I don't know, there was something about
It's
it. It was
farm.
just
I think Bakersfield's all farm, but I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
well,
Somebody
there's
needs.
a military base in that
Yeah.
area, which does give it stability, but, I ended up not going for it. But yeah, California, I mean, house prices there are highest. They've gotta be the highest in the country. So if you're doing wholesaling, you're doing flips, it's definitely a place to be. All right, next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So, what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals? I know you already said ads, so take us
Yeah, sorry. Let's break it down.
one step. Yeah.
If you're new and you want to get instant results fast, just buy the pay. It's called PPL, pay per lead. Just buy it from companies like iSpeed to Lead or something like that. You're gonna buy it for $100, $200, $300, but those are gonna be people that raise their hand and said, "Hey, I want to sell my property." That's the quickest way. Um, because the other way, which I'm gonna tell you that I like, will be um, you know, direct mail is very big for us. But here's the thing: in order to do direct mail successfully, you need to actually buy data, which is expensive. Your website better be pristine. It better have reviews. It has to have the BBB sticker. So there's a lot more things that go into upping the chances of success for that. But I would say eventually you probably have to build that out. We're seeing a lot of results with direct mail. And then I would say Facebook ads are probably the it's like the gold mine right now, but I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Interesting. Facebook. I thought you would have said Google ads, but Facebook is what you're saying is,
Google ads are very, 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 very expensive.
yeah,
You need a very big budget, especially here in the Bay Area.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't have that
And
deep pockets.
yeah.
The big guys here in my market, they're spending well over 6 figures a month.
Jesus
A
Christ, on
month
Google Ads? That's
on
crazy.
yeah, and so you can't you're just not gonna be anywhere near close if you try to put like 3,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, what you said about having a good online presence is spot on, and that is true. It doesn't matter. I mean, single family, commercial side, you got to have a good, solid presentation. People are going to look you up. They're going to try to figure out who you are. You need to have a website, and the coaching students that I have, I always point them to Lovable or any of those AI platforms out there. It is so easy to build a clean looking website. Actually, Google Anti-Gravity right now, that's it's called Google Anti-Gravity. It is the websites it makes are just, they're like, it's amazing. I don't know how it does it, but the AI, you tell it what you want and it'll spit out this website that looks super clean. So if you guys need that professional, the professional look, you don't know how to build websites, just go to one of those AIs, tell it to do it for you. It'll do it in seconds and you'll have that presentation that you need. So all right, with that, I'm going to move us on to the next question. This is about lessons learned. Not every deal we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, pretty much every time something's going to go wrong. And that's when we get to learn a lesson. So, what was a deal that went a little bit sideways for you? And what was the lesson you pulled from it?
Every time I go out of my buy box, I always make significantly less than what I aim to make. It can either be a location that I said, "Hey, we're not buying here. We can't go below this percentage of ARV." Every time emotions kick in. Let's face it. I mean, I'm in the game a long time, but sometimes I'm like, you know what, we can get in and out of this one quick, and we can make X. Never pans out. And luckily, my track record right now is that the worst that's happened to me was I broke even. I haven't lost money, thank God, but it sucks. You spend 3, 4 months, 5 months of work and you make zero. That's pretty much wasting money, in my opinion. Right. But I'd say just stick to your buy box. And if you don't know what that is, you know, I don't know. You got to ask. I just go talk to chat.
Yeah.
You could probably figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, learned that lesson myself. Stick to your criteria. Never waver. I mean, and it's hard when you haven't closed a deal in a while because you're gonna get that itch. You're gonna be like, man, I want to get this deal. I want, whatever it is. Maybe this number doesn't matter as much as I think it does. But don't do that. Don't follow that path. Always stick to your criteria. Buying right is the number one thing in real estate. You have to buy right, and if you don't do that, then you're screwed. And there's no way to fix a property that wasn't bought right. So yeah, I love that you said that. And I'm going to take that to move us to the second to last question. This is a new question we've been asking. We've already mentioned AI a few times, but it is here to stay. And so I like to hear, how are you implementing AI in your business today?
You're talking to the right person. I have subscriptions to ChatGPT, Manus.ai, which will build your website as well. You just literally plug in a website that you like and it will create it. I use Claude a lot. And believe it or not, I'm starting to use Claude a lot more. I use ChatGPT for ideas and having somebody to talk to, and then I take that and I go to Claude to really run a uh, look at all the threats of my ideas. And believe it or not, I'm probably more in the people's business than anything else now. I mean, obviously we're talking about real estate, but I run a team and there's always things going on, the KPIs that I should be tracking. Hey, this person doesn't like this person, what should I do? And so I used to have to call my mentors. Now, I literally get an
Call it
answer
Claude.
within seconds. Chat and Claude are my mentors. They really are. Like, and guys, I literally have Chat and Claude give me a daily leadership lesson every single day, and it comes in at 6 a.m. when I'm at the gym, and I just read it, and I'm like, wow, that's smart. I can do it. And I talk to it so much. It actually knows all my businesses. It knows my revenue goals. It knows what my companies are actually doing. I don't know if that's a bad thing because now maybe uh, it's somewhere in the cloud, but who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, it's giving me better answers, better results because it knows me. It knows me and my companies better than my. I still have business consultants and I have all that stuff, but they don't know the big picture.
Yeah.
Like AI knows everything
Dude, it's
about me.
funny you said that. I actually, so I have like you, I have every single subscription, Perplexity, Chat, Gemini, whatever. I got them all. But I have also been using Claude the most recently. I downloaded Claude the desktop, and you got that co-work and that Claude Dev. And it is because it has that context and you can create projects and it has that memory of everything that you've talked about. It gives better advice than a lot of people that have, that should be giving really good advice, because it knows everything that I've told it. In fact, just today, I was talking to it. I'm considering selling these properties, and I these two self-storage facilities, and I said, you know what, maybe I should refinance and pull out the equity and put it into something else. And it was like, let me push back on that. That's actually not in your best interest, because these are smaller facilities. It will just drain you in terms of your overall benefit. You should sell them, move it into a different property. And I was like, God damn it, you're right, Claude. You're right.
I'm telling you, I've been with a lot of consultants, and the problem is they don't like, it's like when people ask me for advice, I said, I can't give you advice. I don't know your financials. I don't know where you stand. I don't know what your business do. And so I can only give you general advice.
Yeah.
But Claude knows my full portfolio,
Yeah.
and it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I'm excited to see. I mean, that we're at such the infancy of AI, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. But the future is the future. So we'll leave it to that.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you, and what can they expect when they reach out?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm on all the other platforms, but I respond to the DMs personally. And so if you want to talk to me, Instagram, Mr. Brian Tran is my handle. What can they expect? Well, you're gonna get a lot of comedy. When it comes to flipping, I keep it very light. I am that person on the job sites, and I'm gonna show you how to find deals, and I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can succeed. No matter what your background is, no matter where you came from, no matter what kind of financial situation you're in, I'm going to show you guys that it can be done.
Awesome, man. I love it. I'll put those links in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to Brian, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description, and in there you can find his links.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Have a good one, guys.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe, therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.